Hey guys, welcome to this analysis of my Seifer Seasonal Cup matches. This is something I'm thinking of starting to do on a regular basis with tournaments, definitely with Seasonal Cups, I think, but I might try to do this with Opens as well. I'm not sure just yet, but I'm streaming live on Twitch right now. I think this would be a cool. I really liked how the tier lists. I really like how the tier lists were going with conversation going up. So I think this would be a cool thing to interact with the community on as well. So my lineup for this was very standard to what I usually bring to tournaments. So you can see I brought my Crassius list, Green Blue Beast, Green Blue Jump, and then a Burn Husk, which I haven't brought in the past before, I don't think. But this is like a list with mechs and Scourge Flame, and is quite burn oriented along with the husks. It's got the full husk package, so like Storyteller and Merchant and stuff. So this is the banning phase. I was looking at this lineup that Saturn had here, dreading it a little bit because I see two red-yellow decks. So from Saturn 5, who's here in chat right now, I knew that this was probably red yellow burn because the numbers were pretty consistent with a red yellow burn deck, and I didn't want to face that. I think my beasts and jump do an alright job of fighting it, but it's like burn is always 50-50, and I don't like taking 50-50 risks so much. So I wanted to get that one out of there. I wasn't sure what this deck was at the beginning. It turned out to be mechs, which it had 9 deserts, which isn't usually seen in mechs, but it's got that husk cover, so it kind of threw me off. So well done there, Saturn. And this one I knew was red control, and this one is pretty obviously monk husk, but I, for some reason at the time, thought this was the Drake Rider list. Yeah, so I burnt the burn list. That's what I decided on. Let's jump ahead. I figured that beasts and jump and, well, like, these two could easily fight red control, and Drake Rider, as I assumed it was, I thought I had a pretty decent matchup there as well. So Shadow Control is 2.4. Yeah, fair enough. I was super tired at the time, and I wasn't really thinking this through. But like 6 neutrals, 2.7, like that's seen so often. Like that's definitely Monk Husk. Oh, 2.8. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Saturn ended up banning my beasts. Let's jump ahead. Which I was a little bit sad about because I realized that Crassius is kind of bad against... Well, I mean, against red control, I think it would be okay, actually. I think Crassius would be okay against red control. Gotta ban the beasts. Yeah. Yeah, beast is pretty strong. Like, green-blue is a pretty strong archetype. So, yeah, I was left with Crassius here, and I was thinking, oh crap, my Crassius deck isn't going to do well against a lot of these decks. So maybe I'll lead with it to kind of scope out what he's playing, because, you know, like, playing the worst deck is probably the best to go for. I think Burn Husk was also a little bit weak to red control and the yellow list, because the yellow list I assumed was super fast. So I could have also started with Burn Husk, which might have been a better plan there. Hey, Summer! You get to see this live, yes! Did you know that it was red control? I did. Like, I assumed it was. I didn't know for sure, but I saw the... Like, with the Devouring Plant, I figured it's gotta be, like, red control. So starting hand here, I had 2 Crassius, and the Biomancer. I ended up tossing the Crassius because this gives me 1 starting creature, and Biomancer draws into the other one anyways. That was meant to debate you. Oh, into an aggressive red list? No, I don't know. I thought it was red control for sure. I guess because I had just faced that from, like, I scrimmed a bit with Noah, and he was playing red control. So I had hope here, because Saturn didn't play a starting creature. I was like, oh, alright. This is gonna go well. He's got nothing going for him. We get to play this Crassius down, which I knew was gonna get removed, but I mean I had the Biomancer in hand to draw me more, like I said. So it wasn't too bad. Damn, Noah. I love the red control list. It's actually super cool. So here, whoa. You found double Husk, which is insane. So I did see Husk on the cover. I could have played out of range of Husk if I played the Explorer. But I didn't think of that, which would have been really nice because that would have made sure that he had 2 less cards in hand. So I should have played the Explorer last turn, but I didn't really have Husk on my mind, I guess. So this is also a very strange play, I think. What am I doing here? I guess, so I want to go aggressive, I guess, to deal with these Husks, because I guess I'm not super confident that I can get to my Crassius combo in time before these Husks deal massive damage to me. So I decided that I need to push slightly aggressive, but I don't really have an aggressive hand. Well, I do, with Aurora. So yeah, that's probably a fine plan. Going a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, the Aurora certainly makes things interesting. I am on 1 leg only. And then he finds the Cannon Carrier, which is just game-winning play right here. Because what do I do now? And then he develops the Airbot as a collector. So, I mean, this was such a brutal opening for me. Because now there's this 4-2 on all of my lands, and all the creatures in my hand have 1 attack. So, I don't have a lot of options in what to play. I think I made a mistake in what I do here next. Yeah, it's just over. Like, I had I didn't have much of a chance, but I had a better chance than this play that I make here. But happy for bees. Yes.
I'm so smart, I astound myself.
So, I make this play, playing double Carassius right next to the mech, and I even consider that Detonate could be a thing, but like I've lost all hope at this point, and I'm like, well, this is the only line that I see can possibly work, even if he has Detonate. But I looked back on this, and like there's a much better line than this. Like, so one thing, I could have played the Lore Thief as a 3/3 to sort of at least contest the stats here. I could have also built this lake to the side and put my 1/3 over here. I guess my consideration here was that I put a 1/3 between the wells to give me double collection, so I at least have Faeria to work with stuff next turn, even if this gets like valued sometime in the future there. And then I wanted to protect the Biomancer, but I think building lake to the side was a bit better, because then I could have guaranteed myself a collection. There was not a lot of answers for this besides Flame Burst. And then I could have dropped 1 Carassius to defend my face, and then another Carassius. I don't know where, to be honest. Because, yeah, he did end up having the Detonate. We'll fast forward. He did end up having Detonate, which just clears my board. And then he goes face. So, yeah, pretty much over at this point. And I think I even surrender. Yeah, he drops aggressive thing. I kind of spend some time thinking of any possible way I can come back. And realize that, like, I draw 2 cards, but not much I can do. So, that was kind of a throwaway match. I think, like, there wasn't a lot of plays I could have made better. There was some better plays, but I think that he had that one in the end. So now I have to decide what to counter the mechs with. And I was a little bit scared to play my green-blue jump because my green-blue jump is very swarmy. And Husk is pretty good at taking care of swarm with the airbots and detonates and things. But the Burn Husk kind of was like a similar deck because it has mechs and stuff, and it had like the Storyteller and Merchants. So So I figured this is probably like a 50-50 matchup, so I'll probably just go for it. Seems like the best option. I was also considering the future matches. Like, green-blue jump is really good against red control, I felt. And then this, I still thought this was the Drake Rider list, which I felt that green-blue jump does reasonably well against as well, especially with the swarm aspect. So I figured if this is my best deck to fight these two, I might as well just get my Burn Husk out of the way, see if I can pick off a win. If I don't, I can at least try green-blue jump and potentially sweep with jump. So I start with Burn Husk. No bully. Alright, so this is my opening hand. Obviously toss the Wingate. I think I keep the Flame Burst just as a removal trick. I don't know what I can remove in mechs. That's 3 damage right off the bat. I guess most mech decks run the Brigand with 3 life. So Flame Burst is an alright keep for that. You don't remember this match at all? It was exciting. I made a lot of mistakes. I think I didn't have enough experience with mechs to play this list. But there was some interesting lines in this one. So yeah, I play the Storyteller. I think you just find a Seifer's Wrath. Remember the next 3. Alright, we'll watch this one together. So here I have an Airbot. There's an option to play Airbot as a collector, because he's just played 1 Seifer's Wrath, but pretty likely that he has Flame Bursts as well in the deck. So holding on to Airbot is good for Detonate lines. I don't have Detonate in hand, but it can be good to hold on to. So I think I decide not to play the Airbot, and we just keep building lands. And then Saturn drops the 2/5. And here's where I make a mistake, I feel. So my previous turn, I didn't play the Airbot because I was thinking, well, he could find answers to it, and I want to save this for a Detonate line probably. So here I go up here, and then I put the Airbot between the left side. So this play doesn't make any sense. Like, if I wanted to use Airbot as a collector, I should put it on the right side where it's uncontested by this. Next turn will be a 5/5. I think my consideration here was I wanted to build lands aggressive for the Bomb Slinger to try and fight this. But I mean, even if that was my line, then I shouldn't have played the Airbot at all. Don't like holding with cannon in hand with no Detonate. Yeah, that's another thing to consider. Like, it was always an option to play this. Especially since I have no Detonate. Also, yeah, true, Cannon Carrier has Detonate lines anyways, so I might as well get it out as a collector. But like, waiting this one turn and then playing the Airbot makes 0 sense. Like, why did I do that play? Yeah, it's a debatable decision. But I think, so yeah, in this position, I wanted to build lands aggressive for Bomb Slinger, but I think that was also a bit pointless because, I mean, this is 5 life, and my hand kind of needs a Seifer's Wrath to deal with that 5 life on top of Bomb Slinger. So I think the play here was just going opposite side and ignoring this thing. He is in the lead because he's got a collector, and I have nothing. But I could have also just stuck the Airbot between the wells in hopes of collection. I think he does find a Flame Burst. But yeah, so Saturn jumps on this opportunity and just nabs the right side himself, which I think is what I should have done. And then there's a Flame Burst that comes in the Airbot, so it doesn't really matter in the end. But I feel like these lands should still be on the opposite side. This is just going to be too difficult to deal with. And there's the Detonate, so, you know, if I held the Airbot, I guess I had something. I remember thinking about that Flame Burst for a while. I guess, so your consideration probably was that, like, I'm not going to step up into range of this. So, like, I'm only going to get 1 collection. I guess that's a reasonable consideration on your part. I think clearing it is probably good. because this gives me the option to double collect. Like maybe I find Flame Burst Seifer's Wrath for your 5/5 and then it's uncontested. So I think like killing it made sense. And you were doing the value match. Yeah. And then producing this 2/2 airbot makes it even harder for me to deal with this. Because now any removal spell in my hand definitely wants to hit this thing instead. So now I've got this big chonky boy, which takes 2 removal spells from red, and the 2/2. So I need 3 removal spells just to clear your board. Yeah. And here's... So this is a strange play as well. It's not... Yeah, so Flame Burst the airbot, obviously. But, like, I put the 4/2 up here to contest this. I mean, he could just find Seifer's Wrath. I could have, again, just held this for a better detonate line. I think I should have just held and did nothing. My consideration, I think, was trying to get a collector down. Because he had, like, collection going of his own, and I was like, well, I'm going to lose this if I don't collect so much. But I think with mechs, you are safe to hold your Faeria a little bit and just get a big detonate turn off. Because, yeah, this just wasted one of my mechs, and then the detonate line's gone because I only have Bomb Slinger now that I can use aggressively. And then you have Barter. That just crippled my heart. When I saw Barter, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to win this anymore, am I? Because now you've got Flame Burst, Seifer's Wrath, and more Flame Burst, Seifer's Wrath. So I was like, oh, man. And then he plays the 3/8, which is super solid. Like, I am never dealing with this, especially since I used up my cannon carrier. So now my plan, I'm going to have to ignore this. I have no choice. This is a super sad line. Just Bomb Slinger into not killing it. So I did have the option here to like Soul Pack Detonate. Yeah. There was so many mistakes on my part, I feel, in this game. Like, this is really easily cleared. You can even... Oh, you can't Ground Shaker just yet, but yeah, just any removal spell. And then I've got to awkwardly deal with this with the cards in my hand, which is only Flame Burst. I mean, Detonate was super sad, but I don't know. I feel like I should have... I do have Carrier. I guess that's okay. Yeah, I do have Carrier Detonate. Oh, you had Shaker in hand? Yeah. But it's just my earlier plays were what made this whole setup really poor. Like, I gave away my cannon carrier, I gave away my airbot, so I didn't have any answers anymore to this board. Always make fun of people playing into Slinger. And look what I did. Yeah, I guess you did have the option to step back, right? Because you had already collected that turn. So yeah, I guess on your part you could have stepped back out of Bomb Slinger range. Yeah, you should have stepped back for sure. I found this. I top decked the Seifer's Wrath, so at least I can breathe a little bit now. I found somewhat of a inefficient answer here. So Seifer's Wrath was like a lifesaver here, and then I still get my collector to survive. Found a win gate. No point in playing that. There's no point in playing that. Don't play that. I mean, I guess the consideration is to block the land, but all of the mech creatures are red, right? I don't know if there's a point to this. Like, you could just Bomb Slinger the win gate. I don't know if that's a consideration, though. Bomb Slinger on win gate, is that worth it even? Yeah, I didn't know if you had training or something goofy either. Because mechs with double yellow has not been really seen before, by me at least. I've never seen mechs with double yellow. It would have been transitioning to +1. Yeah, +1 makes sense. Like, just build up sort of like combo pieces for cannon carrier detonate lines. A lot of issues with this game. I also have Scourge Flame in the list. In this list. So now I'm on 5 lands. So I drew a card. I guess because I had the double Soul Pact in hand, and I was looking for some creature to play, but Saturn's on 10 Faeria. If I find anything to play, like maybe I find like Storyteller or something, it's really likely he has answers to all of that. He did nothing this turn. Nice spot, Saturn. Yeah.
Let's explode together.
Yeah, so this is a really nice line from Saturn, because yeah, he shoots the carrier to get an aggressive land, and then he gets to Bomb Slinger, my only collector. This is an interesting line from me, I think. So, options here, I really want to clear these with a Detonate, because the like 2-4 damage at my face is a lot. So I end up playing Windgate so I don't have to build the land. Get the Cannon Carrier right in between these two guys, and then shoot the 4-2 to block collection. I ended up playing the 3-3, which I guess I should have played first, just to see what my options were here. But 3-3 as a collector next turn. And then we're going to detonate. So was there a better line to this? Like, there's... I mean, he just clears it here. I think this was a pretty decent line. I also can step the Windgate onto the mountain, which I do. But yeah, I needed a creature... I needed a creature in between these two guys to get that detonate line off, so I think that was the best I could have done there. You were sad when you did this? Yeah. So this gives me a solid attempt back in the game because, well, now I've blocked his aggressive land. He's on 4 Faeria only. And he's got to deal with this 4-2. And I've got double collection set up now. So I'm actually in a pretty decent spot here because of that line. He has no removal answers, so he has to hit into it. So we get double collection. This is a dumb line, I think. I mean, it's not the worst, but I think it's kind of dumb. I play the Smuggler aggressive because I'm like, oh, he's got nothing there. I can maybe get a corrupt trigger. But I mean, Flame Burst is such an easy answer. Another thing to consider is that there's no mountains in this range. So if he wants to Bomb Slinger, he's got to build another one. Or if he wants to like do a detonate line, he's going to need mountains for most of his creatures. But I think the better play here was playing like Teller to try and search for my husks, because I really need husk to like keep myself in this game. I think husk would give me some draw and a little bit of heal, which might be important. But what is he? Cannon Carrier. Because I think you want to deal with that guy. Double detonate. Oh, this line was so annoying and very game winning, because the detonate even clears my Windgate, which was actually kind of a solid card for me there. Hey, El Panico, welcome. Yeah, so the double detonate was devastating. Also, you did 4 damage to face with that line. Completely cleared my left side, and then I'm left with this 3-3 over on the right, and you've got a 4-2 right at my face. Yeah, right? I never played the 5-3. That was a really dumb play. I should have just played, like, honestly, Teller to search for husks. Yeah, so now I draw into Scourge Flame, which is never being played this match, I think. I mean, I do have the option to play it here with the Soul Pact, but Scourge is kind of super sad here, because I need to deal with this 4-2. Yeah, so what's the play here? I think I'm looking at Flame Bursting. I want to Bomb Slinger this, I guess, but the consideration here also is he's got this aggressive land, and now I'm on 8 life, so if he drops anything here, I need something to deal with it. So I think I just step the Merchant back in hopes that I can deal with whatever stats come here. But I think, so in this situation, I don't know if Bomb Slinger's the correct play. Because, like I said, I'm going to need stuff to deal with whatever aggression comes down here. So I think I would have liked to see maybe just ignoring the 2-4. And like, I do need to Flame Burst this. It's too threatening, but then maybe just play Storyteller there. And then at least I've got 5 damage sort of set up here to contest anything that comes down. You roped. Oh no, El Panico. So yeah, I think he's just... What do you do next? Okay, you just pass, which is fair. I could potentially have like damage here to deal with the creature that comes aggressive. So I'm kind of happy that he played nothing because it gives me a little bit of a chance to set up again. Find a husk. So I get to heal my life up a tiny bit. So this, yeah, bank for combo. That makes sense. So stepping here, my consideration here was that I wanted to contest this mountain spot. And then this also blocks any sort of mech coming down here to detonate my Bomb Slinger. So that's what I wanted to do there. I could have also just stepped down to the desert, but I think stepping on the mountain was better. But then he just finds a Ground Shaker, pretty much full clears my board, and now I'm in a very tough spot. Ground Shaker stats are near impossible for me to deal with at this point. I've already used like 2 Flame Bursts, I think, at this point. So I think I find a line that keeps me in the game one more turn, but this is pretty much over. So we put Airbot down. We do a detonate, and then I build a land, play Husk Center, and that gives me a potential to stay in this game. I think I also step the 3-2 to sort of contest Ground Shaker in case the Husk is dealt with. He just needs to hit into it. But looking pretty over from this position. This 3-8 is doing so much work, honestly. Like something I can't deal with that's just collecting 1 Faeria per turn. Oh, and then you find the barter, so I'm like, well, I guess that's it. So you probably just find Seifer's Wrath. Detonate again? Oh, you've bartered for detonate. Yeah, actually, barter's kind of insane there. Because you can also find my detonates, which is a devastating card. So yeah, just surrender here. So that's 2 games down. And I'm not feeling too hot. But I do have my green-blue jump list left, and now that I've gotten a little bit of information off of the mechs, I feel confident that I can beat this one, and confident that I can beat red control, and also reasonably confident I can beat yellow. Yellow can sometimes be sketchy, but again, I thought it was the Drake Rider list, so I felt that I would do well against that list. I mean, yellow typically doesn't do so well against swarmy things. Didn't play well because I didn't have the lethal yet. Oh, and that last one? This was Bully? I don't remember this one. Oh, right, this one was over really quick, wasn't it? I just got a really good hand, I think. Bully, okay. So you started with desert. I think this means that I'm really safe to play the water alley here, because you can't possibly flame burst me. I mean, this kind of makes sense because you want your mountains on the Faeria walls, so that makes sense. So what am I doing here? I think I want to pre-buff. Pretty sure I want to, yeah. Okay, so I play trainer and a pre-buff just to make sure that I'm guaranteed collections. There's no detonate lines coming yet because he's on 3 land, so it doesn't matter so much if I play that 3-2. Oh, you had Husk in hand, okay. Yeah, so we continue our march up. I have the trainer buff, which I don't want to use just yet, I think. So that's why I play the second trainer there. Because I'm not sure if I want like a 3-3 Toad or a 5-5 Triton Warrior. Don't think he ciphers the 3-2 there. Yeah, that's fair too. Yeah, actually that's a good point to... I kind of glossed over that. But yeah, ciphers on the 3-2 didn't really accomplish much. Because you knew that I was going to double collect on this side with a land, so there's almost no way that I get collection with that 3-2. But yeah. So this is a scary position for Saturn. Because 7 is so difficult to deal with. I mean, you can find Ground Shaker into like double Flame Burst, I guess, but that's a lot. That's a lot of cards. So it just passes, which is great. I get to get a aggressive hit, and then I just drop a 7-7 Tide Lord. Yeah. So that's pretty brutal. I think that was also a consideration why I held these things and played the trainer. I wasn't sure what sort of stats I wanted, and the 7-7 Tide Lord I think really pays off here because 7's an awkward number for red. Slinger Burst is a thing? That's true. Yeah, so he surrenders here. Didn't matter in the end, yeah. Double neutral was better than Lake. Oh, to play around... Wait, let me see. Hey, Lizard. Double neutral to play around Detonate. Like here. Oh, yeah, actually... There is, so this is a little bit weird. I actually agree with either double neutral or I could have built the Lake here to protect my 7-7 and, well, actually all 3 of these guys. That was such a huge detonate line. Like, you could have found, like, dropped a land, double detonate, and actually potentially clear my board there. That was, yeah, this was a huge mistake, actually, now that I'm seeing that. Making the Lake doesn't protect against cannon detonate. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I was concerned with just getting to my land count, but that, yeah. I needed to defend against detonate lines. Certainly a mistake there. So Saturn goes with his red control. I assume because red control is the worst matchup, so he just wants to find as much information about my deck as possible. Yeah, Airbot's always a thing, Cannon Carrier's a thing, but I mean, I should be playing around all the possible lines, or like potential nut lines. You were crying. I mean, I think like this matchup is super favored against red. So many Gary moments, but no Gary. Yeah, I was a little spooked of Gary. Oh, there was one mistake I made that played a little hard into Gary here. It's actually more of a 50-50. I guess red control is a little bit different. Fair enough. So he drops that. I'm just gonna go for it. Because I knew it was red control, I knew that there was, well, there could have been Horsemaster, but probably not. I want a pre-buff to play out of Flame Burst range, because this is my only creature right now. Never seen you play so turbo. I was super tired. I had like 3 hours sleep, which I think when I'm like super tired like that, I just play lines because I'm like wanting to get it over with or something. I'm not sure. So here I play Battletoads and then I'm deciding which one to embrace, because the Toad, if I embrace, it kind of plays out of kind of plays around Firestorm, sort of, but not really. Or like it plays around Seifer's Wrath, I guess, but if he Seifer's Wrath, he's gonna kill this. Well, he can kill one of them. So I go for the bigger thing because it was on 5/5, right? Yeah, so I felt like 5/5 he could reasonably deal with the stats, but I want this big aggressive thing closer to him so that I can contest this Brigand, because it's pretty likely. So if this was a 5/5 and this was a 4/6, he could have found like double Firestorm or something to clear, and then I'm looking very sad, but the 9 stats makes it really difficult to deal with, so I buff that one instead. He steps up and collects, which is fair. I mean, there's no real running away from this 7/9. I do have the option to Frog Tosser here, but that plays massively into Firestorm, because the Tosser will go to 2 life. Double collection left side. That's true. I mean, yeah, well, like, if he was going double collection, that would put a lot of pressure on me to try and contest this Axe Grinder. And I just have that 2/2 frog. So here I'm trying to play around Firestorm a bit, because I think I want to develop... Wait, do I play the Triton Warrior? No, I just pass. Yeah, so I don't want my 7/7 to be harmed so much, and I know that like this is a perfect Firestorm opportunity here to clear off a Toad plus damage the Water Ellie and then maybe Bomb Slinger it. So I hop back the Toad to play out of that. That's also true. He's on 17 Faeria now, but also his removal options are going to be really expensive, right? Because he's going to need a lot of Firestorms, maybe Garrodin. But I mean, if you don't have Garrodin, I guess drawing's better anyways to search for it. So I find Tide Lord, which is huge here, because it lets me put the Tide Lord on that mountain. Oh, I go face. Oh no, yeah, this was the mistake line, I think. I think I should have used the 7/7 to clear the Brigand, and then put the Tide Lord there. This line plays massively into Garrodin, and I think I'm realizing it now, because I'm looking for a safe spot for my Tosser, and I'm like, oh crap, where do I put this where it's not going to play hugely into Firestorm? But it plays into Gary as well. Like, look at this. But you couldn't find a single one. So, yeah, this line, what it was supposed to be, I should have still hopped here on the land, I think. I didn't need to, though. I could have just stayed here. Yeah, I could have stayed here, hit the Brigand, developed the Tide Lord right on the mountain spot, and that was a completely fine line. I didn't need to play the Tosser there. 3 Copter, 2 Firestorm. Oof. Yeah, so now this is a great Firestorm. He does have to deal with the 7/7 because that's a bit spooky. So he's going to have to use something there. think it's double Firestorm. Oh, and then maybe Flame Spitter. Yeah, so that's a nice cleanup. I have 3 creatures that survive at least, but that could have been prevented. Very easily could have been prevented. So now I think I want to drop the Triton Warrior. So I do it this way. I could have put the 4/4 more aggressive, but I wanted to play out of Bomb Slinger range. So I put the 4/4 behind. Because playing into Bomb Slinger is really bad, considering I haven't even seen one yet. So it's pretty likely that he has one in hand soon. Tried to play around Tosser, yeah. Yeah, that was good. It's a bit spicy as half bluffs Garroted. I guess so. I think that was correct, though, putting the spitter there. Because... yeah. I do have the option to Tosser here, but Tosser's just bad here. Because if I toss this, he's got an easy value trade with the Axe Grinder. Again, Garroden's a thing. Actually, that's a good point. If you had 3 Copter in hand, probably don't want to play around it. And then you force the Faeria out of me? Yeah, that's a good point. What am I doing here? I think I want to get this Fogoro down for sure, because that's just chunky stats. I'm really spooked here to play into Bomb Slinger range. I think this is what all of my thinking is about. Because Bomb Slinger's a really big swing for him with that 4/4. So I think I'm just gonna Fogoro into Dragon. Right. Okay. Yeah, so Dragon I feel is pretty solid stats to deal with red, and then this at the same time applies pressure to his face because I don't want to let up on this pressure. I want him to be forced to make awkward trades. If I go passive and just collect, then I might lose my sort of foothold here. He's played 2 Firestorms now, also. Like, there's really good Firestorm lines here. Well, not really good. I mean, yeah, Firestorm's not the worst here. But yeah, still keeping the 4/4 back here to play out of Bomb Slinger range. I just kind of want to see what he does first. Maybe force him to invest some Faeria. Plays the Cap 10. Yeah, so exactly like this. Like, playing the 4/4 back here means I've got actual stats to fight with now against these things. Yeah, so now I've got to figure out an efficient way to deal with this. I think all I'm doing here is using... I'm going to throw a Toad into it and then hit in for 6. Because that's nice, easy 8 damage. I think I just keep hitting face with the Toad. Oh, so I drew into Aurora, which makes things interesting. Yeah, I think I had a line set up in my mind, but that all changed with Aurora, of course. But yeah, we're still gonna probably just hit into this. Hit in with the Toad.
Installing updates.
Clear the Brigand, of course.
Installing updates.
And then we'll just hit into face for 6. Stepping on the leg's better, of course, because I don't want the 2/2 to get an easy clear. So this plays into Firestorm a little... Well, it didn't matter where I went, I guess. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, now he's at 5 life, so he's gonna have to... like, use a lot of resources potentially unfavorably. Like, he might have to use a Ground Shaker to block or something. But now we see all the copters, the many, many copters. Although he's still, because of the 6/6 at face, he has to give up potentially some really nice value trade or value clears here to try and clear this 6/4. I guess he does find something. Oh, the devouring plant. That's actually a fine line, because, like, he didn't want to give up this really juicy value here. So we just devouring plants to stall a turn. He has some answers for next turn to deal with that. I think that was pretty solid. I mean, Sunken Tower wins me the game, but that's not that likely in green-blue. And also, I think Sunken Tower might have won me anyways if I had that. Maybe not. Yeah, Sunken Tower would have won me anyways because I could just push that aside and hit. Still no shaker. So I'll take some tosser value. I think I just buff. I want to keep this 6/4 alive. Like, even if this dies, he's gonna have to again invest a lot by like hitting his copter into it, and potentially his 2/2, forcing him to build a land for that. Because if he plays Ground Shaker here, like, obviously I just win. So buffing the 8/8 I think's really strong there. He needs to throw a lot of stuff into that. Let's see what he does. Yeah, so he's forced to build that land, which is really good for me. Okay, and then just Flame Burst probably. Bomb Slinger maybe. Oh no. Yeah, so clears a bunch of board, but I'm in a really good position here. He's on 0. I've got triple collection. So I think I played the trainer here. I think because again the Triton Warrior is really awkward into Bomb Slinger, so I think I want the 5/5 stats for Bomb Slinger. He's also used like what, 2 Seifer's Wrath, 2 Flame Burst or something now. He's used 2 Firestorm. Wasn't sure if he had a third, so I decided to play out of range, because why not? I had the option to. Need to go even in Faeria to win. Kind of got lock on. Yeah, just tunnel visioned into just drawing. So yeah, I think I just dropped. That's a 5/5 warrior. I want to get the value trade on this Axe Grinder. So if I kill the Axe Grinder, he doesn't have access to Ground Shaker. But I use the Water Ellie to develop that land instead of building lands so that I get to +1. Water Ellie is in a position where I can take Vagara's spot. Yes, there's the throwing in the towel. Alright, so I'm on my way to sweeping back with green-blue jump. We're 2-2. So next one is the yellow matchup, which is Monk Husk. Stay on target. Yeah. Yeah, I guess seeing that played through, I think green-blue has a slight advantage, but maybe not as much as I thought. It's probably, I don't know. What did I toss? Oh, the Ninja Toad? Yes, this is yellow. I guess I was looking for buffs. Ninja Toad doesn't do much early game because it's like it requires lands to step on as well as the third lake. But we find it again anyways. Yeah, I really like that idea that Lizard just pointed out about playing into Frog Tosser range because of the copters. That's a really clever idea. So I think here I choose to fight. I don't know. I think like I've got really solid fighting options in my hand because of Ninja Toad and the buff, but it's gonna be slow to get out because like Ninja Toad is 3 lake, Embrace is 2 forest. So this is a really risky play. I think going opposite was a bit better because I can always contest the left side by just keeping a jump creature in the center, and that like I can test the collections. I think going opposite was like always the play. Just rush him. I think one concern also with going opposite side though is that he might play Husk that I can't deal with. So here's an interesting consideration. So I'm looking to get some values on these storytellers. I just played the trainer, so I know that my Ninja Toad is a 4/3 this turn. So I'm looking to clear one with the Toad and then Ninja Toad the other one. Problem with that line is that Ninja Toad's it only got 4 attacks, so it can't really contest the monk once it comes down. But this is what I'm going for anyways. I'm just considering where to put the lands, and I think building the lake here is a mistake because this opens up a Wind Soldier line, so I think I put the lake here instead. He's got the desert built there, so I just don't want an easy Wind Soldier line. Like I don't want to build that land for him. So we put the lake there. 3 brigands early, who knows? It could work. It could. I have buffs though. Yeah, so we go for that. I mean, I think I'm like reasonably okay with that because if I step the 3/2 here, then it's not the most efficient answers, but I mean, monks are really threatening once they get going, so I really want to deal with it as soon as I can. Yeah, so there's a Husk. It's a Soul Drain on that guy. And then... So this is super awkward for me right now because I chose to use the Ninja Toad line, putting me up to 3 legs, and now I'm 2 turns away from buffs, which makes this turn difficult, and I think that from this position I should retreat. But I choose to keep the pressure on. I'm looking at, because I do have access to Tide Lord this turn, so I'm thinking of using that to fight with, but this is a super risky line. I step up, and I want to put the Tide Lord here, but the problem with putting Tide Lord in this spot is that if he finds a clear on it, he gets a value trade as well as the clear on the Tide Lord, and then could even find a Soul Drain. Like, so this is at 3 attacks, so he could... Like he could draw once, put it up to 5. Oh, and then training. Yeah, which I think he does find actually. So yeah, he gets draw plus training. He gets to clear the Tide Lord, get a value trade, and then he could Soul Drain and full clear my board. So that's a super risky line right there. Even double Soul Drain does that same thing. I think what I would have liked to do in that position was retreat my Toads, maybe drop the 6/6 here on this lake instead, And then at least I have something to fight the monks with, but I keep my creatures alive. And it makes it more difficult for him to actually clear. Wonder if double trade plays 6/6. Oh, double trade. That's interesting, actually. Yeah, so, yeah. So, let's fast forward. So here, so yeah, Summer suggested a double trade. And then, well, put the Tide Lord down first. I could put the, oh, yeah, that was a solid line, actually. Was it? Yeah. We need answers to this. So I could have hopped the Triton Trainer and then Tide Lord where the Triton Trainer is now was pretty decent. Because I just have a 6/6 sitting there. Only answer to that is double Wind Soldier, but he's got to still build the land. Yeah, I really like that line, actually. And then it even stops the monk from collecting because he doesn't want to play into the 6/6 range. Yeah, that was a solid line. But I don't do such a thing. So he draws, and he finds a training. So the line I was dreading came true. I don't remember if he finds Soul Drain or not. Training. Oh, okay, fair. Yeah, so he has Wind Soldier and a second training. So he does find the full clear, which was the really big risk with that line that I didn't need to take. So now I'm gonna struggle a lot to come back on board. I think I just dropped double trainer with a +1. Getting as many creatures down as possible is really important. Yeah, I play them both here to stop collection, I guess. Well, it doesn't really stop collection. But he decides to Flash Wind Face, which is a really good line for him. And I could have blocked that by just putting a trainer there. No, I couldn't have. He could have gone face. But yeah, that's a really solid play by him, because he's got this 11 attack and this husk chipping away at me. And then he drops an aggressive creature as well. So now I'm in a tough spot because I'm forced to give up my board to clear this stuff. I can save one of them if I buff, but yeah, I can save one of them if I buff, which I think is what I do. But it's still super spooky. 6 life with a husk chipping away. You're trying to channel Cheese here. Yeah, Cheese likes those lights. But yeah, I buff, which puts me at 4 life, which is a really nice stat line because Wind Soldier can't kill it. I really want to save my heals now for, or like my Runaan's Guidance for healing. But he manages to find double Soul Drain, which doesn't let him develop a board, but now I don't have one either. And the Husk gets another ping. So I think I'm thinking now to play Battletoads. I've just seen double Soul Drain, so Battletoads is pretty solid. One of them's a 3/3, I think, still. Yeah. I wonder if the 3/3 should be on this spot, because this is in Wind Soldier range. Because now I'm not particularly expecting a 3rd Soul Drain, but a Wind Soldier could come. Oh, you like replaying Warrior? Oh, instead of the buff before. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Play Warrior then. I guess that makes sense because then I get to hang on to a buff to use. Yeah, that's fair. I counter through? Yeah, I kind of did. So he does find the Wind Soldier. Oh, he goes face. Right. Yeah, I think that was a bit of a mistake because I have the option to heal now. Yeah, Saturn can just demon. But look at this throw. So I healed once, and now I think I play yeah, I play the warrior as some backup to collect with. But I have a second heal in hand. I need to play it. He doesn't run demon. Oh, well, how about that? Even still, if it was like Colossus, I guess I have Frogify. Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, there's merchants. I guess you don't run that. So I'm thinking of playing a lake. Why? There's no point. No, I think I +1. Wait, why would I like to play Figaro? No, I just play the warrior. This warrior is 4 costs, pretty solid. But I don't heal. Why? It's such a mistake. And you'll see why in a second. So he finds training, he finds double husk. So sad. Yeah, so if I yeah, I don't know. If I healed there, he would have been forced to like play Colossus then or something, and then I had the Frogify in hand to deal with that, and then I would have had so it would have gone up to 11. It would have gone up to 11. He had double husk. Maybe he doesn't play the second one then. Maybe he does. Probably. So if he plays double husk, then I go down to 9. He plays Colossus, I play Frogify, and then I've got all this collection set up, and I think it's pretty likely that I win from that position. I don't know. Yeah, also that first Wind Soldier was a bit of a mistake. And then if you didn't Wind Soldier there, I might have. So if you didn't Wind Soldier there, I would have had +3 life. Yeah, it would. Yeah, it could have been a much different game. But yeah, not playing the guidance there was so difficult or so frustrating. What a mistake. I think mistakes were made by both of us in different places, but it was a nice. They were nice games. I like the mech husk. Those are fun. But all right. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna do some. Maybe I'll do some games because I've only been going an hour.